Hi and welcome back to another episode of ZB Monologue. So that's the ZB eating her soup and this is the monologue. By the time Zoya finishes her soup, we should be finished with this video. So let's get right into it. So when I recorded the video before of my job search in Canada, I got a lot of feedback in terms of the fact that, I didn't tell where I am now. So we're going to start from there. It's okay, mommy, you eat it. Okay, firstly, I'm still unable to land a job in Canada. So that's that. Sorry for not giving you hope, but I can give you real. So take it or leave it. And a lot of persons asked about my immigration journey as well. That's okay, you can eat it. A lot of persons asked about my immigration journey. However, I am not able to really give insight into the immigration process because I got married, I got sponsored, I came up, that's it. So I didn't come up through express entry or I didn't come up through school. So I wouldn't be able to give you much insight on that. But what I can give you and what I will give you today are 10 survival tips that I've learned since living in Canada, and 10 things, and some of the things are things that I wish I knew before coming to Canada. So let's get right into it. Are you seeing this? So I have them written down here, so just to guide the conversation. So the first thing is, be prepared to start over. You can eat it, mama. Green peas, yeah. Be prepared to start over. Now this seems like, oh duh, of course you're moving to a new country. But really and truly, you're literally starting from scratch. Now let me say this. Some persons reached out to me and told me that nurses and teachers have an easier assimilation. I would not know, but I'm just passing on the information to you, so you would definitely have to research that for yourself. But if you're in a different market, more than likely you'd need to start over. And by starting over, I mean new work experience and new schooling. So you definitely need to be prepared to literally start from scratch. And that goes into my next point, which is follow-up education is necessary. Literally, you'd have to go back to school. It doesn't matter how long you go back to school. It doesn't matter if you're going back for, a degree or a certificate or a diploma, but some sort of schooling has to happen. It's fine, you eat it. Some sort of schooling has to happen, definitely. So there are some things where you can get your degree certified, but in my case, it just wasn't worth the hassle. So it just wasn't worth the hassle, and it wouldn't have resulted in anything different. So you definitely need to go back to school. So if you're not prepared to go back to school, go back to test and thing. And what I realized is that the Jamaican educational system is advanced, very much so, because when you're going back to school, you're going to learn a lot of things that you learned already. So it will kind of be annoying just to be learning things that you already know, just to say, oh, you get a certificate from this school as opposed to a school in Jamaica, or I don't know where else you're coming from, but yes, right? So the system, the educational system in Jamaica is very advanced compared to the ones here. That's what I've definitely realized. So but you still have to go back to school. Yeah, you know more, but you still have to go back to school. Third point is embrace change. Now this is one of the obvious points, but you have to be mentally prepared for the fact that your life is literally about to change. You are literally starting over. You're literally starting just like a new chapter of your life, and you must embrace change. It doesn't matter where the wind blows you, you must be able to go with it, unfortunately, because you don't know exactly, like you can't come up with a mindset, oh, I'm going into this field, and then the wind blows you in another field. But if you're resisting the change, it will be much harder to really, you know, get into the groove of starting your life in Canada. Fourth, try not to live two lives. And this is kind of tricky because you're coming from a new country. You're coming from an old country to a new country. So of course you're going to be comparing, and you're going to be saying, oh, $1 for this is just $1, as opposed to in Jamaica, oh, this would be $100. But trust me, $1 is $1. Take time. But trust me, $1 is $1. Try not to compare where you're coming from with where you are. This is it. This is where you are now. This is all that matters. This is who you are in this instant. Whatever you were before, it doesn't matter, to be honest. You are here now, so try to embrace everything that's going on here. It will be easier if you just divorce the thought, your mindset, your old self from where you're coming from, and just embrace this new person. 5, use your skills. And this is one of the things that I wish I knew before coming to Canada. So one of my skills is hairdressing, and best believe I come some hair, because you have to be able to have a plan B. Unfortunately, you have to be able to have a plan B, and my plan B was hairdressing. What I wish I knew was that I probably should have taken more pics of the hair that I did, or I probably should have honed my skill, honed my craft a little bit more. Probably should have diversified into, you know, cream, braid, whatever, instead of just natural hair. But you have to have a plan B. You have to have a skill that you can use different from your degree or different from your plan A. So now if you don't have a skill, my best advice would be to develop one that you know that you can fall back on. Nails, barbering, hair, it doesn't matter. When you need to hustle, when you need to grind, you definitely will appreciate the fact that you invested in some skills and that you honed your skills. Trust me. 6, don't get caught up in the titles. And this is funny coming from number 5, which is, you know, use your skills. Now you may call Jamaica and you're like, hey, what's up? And they're like, yeah, so what you doing now? And you're like, oh, I'm a hairdresser. And they're like, hairdresser? Oh, I'm a barber. Oh, I cut lawns. Like, what is that? But at the end of the day, you're making the money that you need to make ends meet. Now that is really all that matters. Now, it really depends. I must interject that it really depends on where you see your life, your goals and dreams and aspirations, and your priorities. But it doesn't matter if you're a CEO or you're sweeping the streets. It doesn't matter. The titles, they don't match up. So marketing officer in Jamaica is not marketing officer in Canada. So you can't hug up your title, hold on to them, because they will only narrow you. They will only trap you in. Right? You have to don't really get caught up in titles. Just as long as you're doing what you want to do and you're making the money, you must be able to, again, divorce yourself from titles. Oh, you know, I'm a bank teller, I'm a marketing officer, and this is like a tie. This is like an imaginary tie. I'm a bank officer, or I'm a marketing officer, or whatever. I'm a manager, or whatever. It doesn't matter up here. The manager position that you may be in Jamaica, you may be in an assistant position here, but you're making the same money or making more money. The next thing is patience. No, you have to be patient. Things are not going to work out for you overnight. things are not going to fall in place overnight. You have to grind, you have to hustle, and you have to do your due diligence. You have to pay your dues. You have to struggle a little. It doesn't really matter if you're going to struggle a lot or you're going to struggle a little. Anybody who comes here, there is a friction, there is a process of friction that you need to go through. And if you're not patient, if you're impatient, it's going to make the process a whole lot more difficult. So you just have to come up with a mindset that, you know, things won't happen overnight, but it will happen. It will happen for you. You just need to be patient. Number 8 is set realistic goals, and that really matches into you know, be patient. You cannot be like, oh, by next week I should be in a job. No, you have to set realistic goals. It's better you say by the next 3 months you have to be in you know, your ideal job, and probably the next 2 months you reach there, but at least you'd be like, oh yeah, I reached this goal before the end of the deadline, as opposed to you setting a goal for next week, and by when next week come, you're demotivated, you're depressed, you're sad about the fact that, you know, you're not in your dream position, and that's because you set unrealistic goals for yourself. And that really matches into number 9, which is set realistic expectations. And I have realized that really and truly the battle is really mental. Like if you're mentally prepared, like if your mental state have the armor and, you know, everything ready to battle, yes, bird, ready to battle, you will be in a much better state than if you were not mentally prepared. If you're mentally prepared for the hardships, you're mentally prepared for all the hustle and the grind that you'll have to do, trust me. If you don't need to do the hustle and the grind, great, but if you need to, you'll be at a greater advantage than if you were not prepared mentally. So you have to set realistic goals, and you have to set realistic expectations. And number 10, keep in touch. No, it's hard to keep in touch with the ones back home, because they're thinking, oh, you know, you're in Canada, you're in a better position, oh, you migrate left, we send you some money now, all of those things, right? And in your head, you're like, listen, I'm at Walmart lifting boxes. Oh, I'm at a warehouse lifting boxes. And it's really depressing for you because of where you were and where you are now, right? So 2 things happen. One is either you try to overcompensate and try to just like butter up everything and be like, oh, everything is okay. 2, you drift away because you don't want to lie, you don't want to pretend, but you just can't be honest with them in that state. So you drift away, you don't reach out as much, you don't talk to them as much, and then eventually, unfortunately, you're alone. But I was listening to a message by a YouTube channel, That's Grace, and one of the messages said, more persons are for you than against you. And trust me, that hit me hard, because you feel like when you're in a new country, you feel like you're all alone. You feel like you're in this alone. And maybe you are, but the fact that you reached out, the fact that you got in touch with, you know, persons who naturally love you, persons who are naturally rooted. She's saying that it's dirty. It's dirty. Her hand is dirty. So the fact that you got in touch with persons who naturally love you, naturally have your back, even though they can't necessarily help you, they can give you, it's okay baby, you eat it. They can give you that push to continue. They can give you just that familiar touch, that familiar face, that familiar voice. It can give you a little fuel to, you know, to just like continue to go on, right? So I just want to interject that these are some of the things that I've learned. I must say that we are on track, because Zaya is finished with her soup and finished with her corn. Yeah, and we're finished with the video basically. But I must say that Brian actually helped me to put together some points for the video, so I cannot take credit for everything. But remember, this is not a broad brush. Everybody's experience is different, so I cannot say that this will be the experience for everybody. Everybody will not learn the same things that I did, but there will be some correlation, there will be some crossover. If you're going to a new country, you are going to learn some of the things, if not all, but your situation will not be the same as mine, and it definitely will not be the same as the other person. So remember, this is an individualized process but there are some commonalities. Yeah, so I just really want to thank you for tuning in. If you have any more questions, you can just comment below. Remember to subscribe, like and share, and so that this can enrich somebody. Maybe this can add value to somebody's life. I don't know. Bye. Tell her bye. Bye. Alright. Alright, thank you so much for your time. One last thing, subscribe.